Can you share with us what were or what would be some of those things that differently?
I don't know. Like it's hard to say like exactly what I'm going to do differently because it's like it's hard. Like I feel like I'm on the spot. Like I'm on the spot, so it's hard to come off like I honestly don't know.
Okay, what was the mistake that you made?
Drinking. I honestly like, I don't like I try to put all this stuff in the past, and it's hard to talk about it now because like I literally had pushed it aside like years ago.
What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge that you're looking at?
I don't know, to be honest. I think my biggest challenge is just, I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you.
All right, is there anything else that you would like us to know before we start our deliberation?
What is a deliberation?
Okay, buckle up because we're about to do another Iowa parole hearing. And what can I say? I don't know. Anyways, I'll unpack it with the details at the end.
This is Brian. Hi. Yeah, I'm trying to get it.
Okay,
I think we're on it now.
Brian?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, can you have Mr. Braggs step out while the board talks to you for a second?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Thanks.
we're hooked up. Yep. Thank you, Janie.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So I guess looking at the time frame on this one, have you talked to anybody at the work release? Just because he's only got just under 3 months left until his TDD. So
Yeah, I did a reach in, reach out with the residential and told them a little bit about Bragg's and all that, and they were fine with it.
okay, so is he gonna be able to get in if he were to, be granted I'm assuming it's a parole to 10B or a work release today? Would he have time to get there and do at least part of the program?
Yeah, they made it sound like, yeah, he would get
Okay.
there before his TDD date.
Okay, because normally on these really short ones, we would be looking at like a parole to discharge, but it doesn't sound like he has anywhere else to go.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I picked the work releases, so he could get a start and get a job and hopefully get a few paychecks in him before he is released.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I think,
Because his mom and brother, they live in Cedar Rapids, but his brother is a renter and couldn't have parole people there, but that's his plan is to go live with his brother
okay.
out of there, out of the residential.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they think they can get him in time, then it sounds like that's the option that we have, because otherwise we'd be like TDDing him out and then he'd also have nowhere to go. So yeah, I guess, yeah. All right. I think that was what I wanted to talk about. Do you guys have any?
Quick question. What happened? You had a situation on the 30th where he denied refusal of a roommate.
Yeah, I'm not real.
And it was noted like June 3rd, but it occurred on or about May the 30th after the Memorial Day. And I think you had someone that was trying to bring in an inmate or bring in a roommate, and he said he'd rather go to the hole if that was going to happen.
I think he was kind of joking around, and the CO really didn't take it that way because they have a lot of in the special needs unit, there's a lot of guys that are pretty sloppy, mentally ill, and I think Bragg just kind of wanted to have a room by himself for a while because he's been roomed with several different guys that have pretty bad mental health issues. So
Okay.
I think he was just trying to manipulate to get his own room, and the CO wasn't having it.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Any questions?
No.
All right, thanks for the conversation with us.
Oh, no problem.
We are ready to bring him back in.
All right. All right, come on in.
Need me to turn it back up, let me know. Okay. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
Just wanted to let you know that wasn't anything you did wrong or anything bad. We just like to start every interview talking to the counselor first, so I didn't want you to worry about that before we started your interview. There was nothing out of the ordinary about asking you to step out for a second. But why don't we go ahead and get started? And can you tell me your full name and your ID number, please?
ID number is 6339907, and my full name is Fernaris B Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Braggs. My name's Meredith Lamberti, and here with me are James Moses and Susie Wynot. And we're the 3-member panel of the Board of Parole who are going to be talking to you today. Before we get started, I want to go over a couple of things with you so you know what to expect today. So what's going to happen is that each of the 3 of us might have some questions for you, and we'll start with those questions first. And then once we're done with our questions, that's when I'll turn back to you and you'll have the opportunity to tell us anything else that you would like for us to know or anything that you might have prepared for us today.
Okay.
And then once you've had a chance to make that statement, then the 3 of us will go into our deliberation where we discuss what our decision's going to be. And we'll do that here on the Zoom. So you'll be able to listen to that discussion as we're having it. And then once we reach a final decision, I'll turn back to you. I'll explain anything about it that might be confusing. And then that will end our interview for the day. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. You ready to get started?
Sure.
All right, why don't you start by just giving us your brief but detailed explanation of the crimes that you committed that led to you coming to prison?
I honestly just made a honest mistake, and that got me to where I'm at right now.
Okay, what was the mistake that you made?
Drinking. Honestly, I don't I try to put all this stuff in the past, and it's hard to talk about it now because I literally had pushed it aside like years ago.
Okay. And we can totally understand that it's difficult to talk about things that maybe you're not the most proud of, but we do just like to be able to hear, especially when there's a victim involved of your crime, not that they're participating, but there's a victim here. If you could just give us an explanation of what you did, what happened, so we know that you're taking responsibility for what you did.
What I did the night that I got in trouble, or
Yep.
like I was hanging out with a girl and ended up like drinking, and then I ended up going back to the place where she was staying, and I kind of just had a bad breakthrough moment, I guess, and ended up taking some stuff, and I honestly don't know like why I did it, but like I just made a mistake, I guess, and then I did something wrong. I don't know. It was just a bad time. I think like in my life that I was going through. That's why I did the things I did.
So, how often would you say you were drinking around that time?
Just weekends.
On weekends? Did you have any other, incidents where you've been drinking and making bad choices?
Not that no.
What about drinking to the point where you didn't remember things?
Like in high school, like probably in high school.
Have you ever used any other drugs besides alcohol?
I have smoked before, like in the past.
So it looks like, so, you know, your TDD is coming up here in September, and it looks like your counselor is trying to get you through the work release, at least for a little bit of time for your release
Yeah.
plan.
Sounds good.
What are your plans for yourself, you know, once you get to the work release and then after?
So if they do let me out on work release, I plan on saving up some money, obviously, and finding a stable place to live, and just keep working till life gives me other options.
Do you want to get your own place, or do you have family that? you
I do want to
to-
get my own place. Yes, I would enjoy that. I think that'd be nice.
I think those were the only questions I had for you to start. I'm gonna see if either of my colleagues have any questions. James, do you have any?
How you doing, Mr. Brad?
I'm doing all right.
Doing
Just
okay?
anxious, really anxious.
Is it fair to say that you might be a little nervous?
I'm very nervous. This is like really nerve-wracking for me.
Okay, okay. Well, if you see the smile on my face, I just wanted you to just try to. I know we're new to you, and like this may not be a comfort zone where you do or used to maybe share personal stuff that's for part of you, and thinking that that information you share will be a knock against you.
Okay.
We just like to utilize this process because it helps us to understand some things that you were going through in your past.
Yeah, I did have a bad past. I did.
And it so helps us to understand a little bit of what your past was like, what has been, you know, your transition, meaning the time that you've been present in preparation for your release or transition out. Okay. There's no ways to put you down, or I would say to demean you in terms of what your efforts truly have been to be better. That's what we want to learn and understand from your perspective. And a lot of times, the only way we're able to understand that from people in this position is to hear from you.
Okay.
Does that make a little sense?
I mean, I can try to explain the best I can, but
Okay, okay. No, that's all we want. Just your true self. Kind of like, let's say, uh, is your brother named Javon?
correct. I do have a brother.
Okay, how close would you say y'all are?
I'd say we're very close. I think about my everybody in my family every day. That's like
Okay.
I think about. I think about them every day.
And is Judea, did I say her name right?
Yeah,
Judea? Okay, your sister?
that'll be my sister. Yeah.
Okay, how are you all together?
I think we're great. I think that we're doing good. I think that they're just excited as I am for when I get out, because it is different being away from my family because I'm not used to it. Because typically I stayed with my mom for like a while. Like after I graduated like high school, I moved to Missouri and worked at a job for like close to a year. Then I came back, stayed with my mom, and I was there for a while. And I was at the house with just my mom and like my sisters. And now we're out of that town because obviously stuff didn't go well. And I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out what I'm gonna do in life now. That I like.
And does that also make you nervous, wondering what
It does. It really does.
Okay, okay. And see, those are the kind of things that help because, you know, during this process, you know, and knowing that you have a TDD in September coming up,
Yeah.
you know, we're just trying to hear what might be in your best interest that helps us, you know, so that at the end of the day, you know, you are encouraged to, you know, to be your better self, to be the best Mr. Braggs you can be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, okay. How is your mom named Jamie?
That is my mom.
Okay. How has you all relationship been?
I think we have a great relationship. I can't wait to get out so I can help her out because I know that she struggles every day, just like every human does. They go through obstacles that are hard to overcome.
Okay. And now that you've had some time to kind of think about the things that you've gone through, if you had to do it over again and do some things differently, can you share with us what were or what would be some of those things that
What would
you,
I do differently than like now? Honestly,
then doing
my
what
perspective
led to
on
you being there?
I don't know. Like it's hard to say like exactly what I'm going to do differently because it's like it's hard. Like I feel like I'm on the spot. Like I'm on the spot, so it's hard to come off like like right away saying this is what's gonna happen. This is what I'm gonna do because I honestly don't know. I know I've changed. I know that I'm better than I was before, and I'm in a lot stronger mindset. I have a better perspective on what I want to do with my life than I did when I was out previously.
Those are my questions for you. And as you are preparing for your your discharge date, these are just some things, not that you haven't been thinking about, but I would encourage you to kind of continue to think about. It's not to put any added pressure to you. It's just to see and create some safeguards that you try to continue to help yourself and take care of yourself so
Yeah.
that basically you don't put yourself in situations that would jeopardize your freedom.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, I appreciate it. That's all I have for you.
Suzie, did you have any questions?
I do. Thank you, Meredith. Good afternoon, Mr. Braggs. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Good. Hey, so can you tell me, you probably thought about the future, talked about it a little bit, but what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge that you're looking at?
I don't know, to be honest. I think my biggest challenge is just I don't know, keep just I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you.
Well, I'm just going to say I'm looking at your age, and so that makes sense to me.
Okay.
You're still young. You feel young?
I mean, yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel very young.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's lots of challenges when you're in your 20s, but I didn't know if you had a specific one. How's your mental health doing?
I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I think my mental health is good.
Yeah. Are you taking your medications regularly?
I take them daily, yeah. I try to, especially when I do have I do have anxiety. I try to read when I can, but
Yeah.
I'm bored reading. I really do get bored reading.
Yeah, that's good. How long have you been taking your medication?
It's been the whole time that I've been here.
The whole time you've been there?
Yeah.
So do you feel a difference than when you came in and how you feel now with your medication?
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say. I like on the streets. I really wasn't really medicated very well. Like
Yeah.
I honestly I was drinking and all types of stuff.
Yeah.
Now I don't have that mindset of like I want to go out and drink. Like that's
Okay.
not what I feel.
Okay.
I do want to change, and
Sure.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Do you feel like you were self-medicating before you came in, like with your anxiety and the other things that you deal with, with your mental health? Do you think that you were kind of trying to do that on your own and now you have medication? I'm just trying to get a good baseline of where you feel you are right now.
Well, I didn't have proper I think that so I ended up going to I was silly committed for a little bit, and that didn't do me no good. And like being in a place like that. Then when I got out, I knew I had to change. So I tried to work it and stuff, and I think my anxiety just got the best of me at that point.
Sure.
And that yeah.
It's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I get it. I think that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for
Okay.
answering those. Thanks.
Right. All right, now is your time to tell us anything else that you'd like for us to know or anything that you might have prepared for us today.
I was gonna write some stuff down, but I thought I'd just come in here and try to be as truthful as I can.
All right, is there anything else that you would like us to know before we start our deliberation?
What is a deliberation?
It's where we discuss what we're gonna decide to do today, whether or not we're gonna grant your work release.
Okay.
All right, are you ready for us to start our discussion about our decision?
Yes.
All right, so sit back and listen and we'll let you know what we decide. So James or Susie, what are your thoughts on the recommendation of the work release? Or would you like me to start?
I'm happy to start.
Okay.
We have very little time here.
Okay.
And I think that work release is the best option at this point for many reasons. The supports, the stabilization. I'd like to give him some time on work release and make sure that he stays on his meds so he isn't self-medicating, stays away from the alcohol and, drugs, whatever else he may have been into. I think that work release is a good next step for a transition. So I'm going to support the department's recommendation. WRG C11P, I would be looking at a 20B here. I'm looking at the crime and I'm looking for how long he absconded, and he also talked about his commitment. So I think that having someone closer to him the next several months may be helpful for his transition then on out into the community. I'd be looking at mental health, substance abuse. I see a medication for the anxiety, so I'd say medication compliance and a 50A. Thanks.
Yeah, I like to go. In listening to Mr. Braggs, I kind of picked up that he was just a little bit nervous, and this was something process that he's not used to. See, he's had stuff in his past, but he's an A commit, very young, and he is very close to his TDD date of September. I'm hoping as he transitioned, he embrace work release and embrace mentoring. I think some mentoring could be a good practice for him. I also think some community service could be good to where he goes and work release, just so that he's able to establish relationships, working with others, and doing his part to show his, in a sense, appreciation to, create new opportunities for himself. It was nice to hear him talk about his mental health, just something he's not used to, but being the age that he is, sometimes it takes certain experiences to understand how significant and serious it is. I hope that he, establishes some good support systems and be willing to embrace good support systems so that he can, maintain and be a part of more of a positive type of pro-social surrounding that helps to motivate him or keep him motivated to trying to do his best practices and doing things right. So I was appreciative of what he was able to share and hope that he does some work that helps him to share of himself so that he sees that, he could put himself around people that will support him. So I'm in support of the codes that my colleague stated, and with the mental health, the substance abuse, the 50A, and along with the other codes that was highlighted.
Okay, so I have a 20B, 40A, substance abuse, mental health, and medication, and a 50A. Okay, all right. Okay, so Mr. Braggs, we are gonna grant your work release today. Okay, we thought you had a good interview. You know, you were open and honest with us, and that did come across.
Okay,
You know,
sounds
you were
good.
nervous. So I'm gonna talk over a couple of things with you, just so you know what the three of us were discussing. So you're gonna go out to the work release, and then you're gonna work with them once you get there on what your transition looks like and, you know, getting a job, finding a place, and that's all gonna be left up to the district and to the work release. You won't need to come back to us before you leave or anything like that, okay? They'll help
Okay.
you work on that transition plan. When you get there, you'll have standard terms of parole that everybody has, and your PO will go over those with you. And then
Sounds
what
good.
we were talking about were a couple additional terms of parole. So the first is no early discharge. So we do want you to stay on your parole until September. And part of that is just to give you that time to save up that money, to get that good job, to help you find a stable place to live.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you have to stay at the work release the whole time, but you'll stay on paper that whole time.
Okay.
Then the 40A are things that we'd like you to do. And one is we'd like you to get a substance abuse evaluation just to see where you're at. We'd like you to continue to engage with your mental health treatment and continue to take your medication. So it doesn't mean that you're stuck with the medications that you're taking right now, but it means if you want to change them or go off of them, that you need to work with a doctor instead of doing it just on your own.
Okay.
And then the final one is no drinking and no being places where drinking is the main activity. So places like liquor stores or bars that don't sell food.
Okay.
All right, any questions about what any of that means?
Basically, just be good.
Yep. Yeah, get out there, do good. I know that the work release, when you've only got 3 months left, can feel, you know, a little bit overwhelming, a little bit like you don't want to do it, but getting out there and letting them help you get set up is really going to be to your benefit. Helping them, you know, they pretty much everybody who goes to the work release can find a job if you want to. They help you save your money. They help you find places that will take people, you know, at different income levels. And they're really there as a resource to help you get on your feet and get your own place.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today and good luck.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Hey, good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah, no
Brian.
problem. Thank you.
I don't know what's worse, the PhDs coming out of our Ivy League school these days is our new generation, or what the DOC is producing. I mean, we are so screwed. To think that not so long ago, you know, the same age would have been storming Normandy beaches. What has happened to what has happened? I don't know. I mean, the way that they're just like coddling him like he's a child. I mean, it was coddling. It was, yeah, I understand. You don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know, he is young. He's what is he, 22 years old? At the time of this hearing, which took place in June 25th of 2024. He was locked up September 7th, 2022. We'll go over what he did because we know that, you know, he just wants to forget about it. And the parole board's like, sure, that's fine. You don't need I understand, you know, well, let's coddle you. You need a safe space. We get it. It's the DOC. I mean, just if you like, the immaturity that we saw in this hearing is alarming, because you would think that you would do some growing up in prison, but he was being coddled by everybody. First with his counselor who's defending him about, keep in mind, someone wants to be his roommate less than a month before his parole hearing. And without thinking about what the consequences could be for him, he says, I'd rather go in the hole. Now, I don't blame him. I'd probably say the same thing, right? Especially the way the counselor described what type of roommates he might have. But his parole hearing's in a month. And the consequences to his actions of, anyways, I mean, the whole thing was really just, I mean, could you imagine Miss Jackson doing this parole hearing? She would have said, sit up. I mean, the way that he's like leaning back, and I don't know why. I just the whole thing. It's like you can't coddle. You need to prepare someone. There needs to be some type of. You know what? Let me show you how it should have been handled by Miss Jackson. Let me show it to you for those of you who are unfamiliar with Louisiana. Let's watch.
Those things don't happen unless you have a plan. Would you stop doing that? Thank you. Okay. It's not a good look for somebody who's trying to impress a parole board. Just like it wouldn't be a good look to impress a potential employer. And so you need to understand that the way you carry yourself impacts the way people see you.
And there you have it. That's the way to conduct a parole hearing. I love watching these because it shows us the culture. I think better than any other way to see the culture of a state is to watch their parole hearings. How the inmates act in front of the parole board, how the parole board interacts with them, how they interact with the COs. We saw this in Connecticut where anything flies. You can curse as much as you want. You can be disrespectful to the COs. It's quite incredible to see it in action. And then you see a completely different experience with Louisiana and then Iowa as a whole. I mean, the Iowa Parole Board is a joke. I have so far seen one, and there's more that I have to go through, and we have a bunch to show you, but just one denial so far. And that denial was because the person had done something to a fellow politician, and they were insulted by that because some of the folks in the Iowa Parole Board are elected, not nominated by the governor. So I don't know if you hear they're crying in the background. It's summertime, kids are home. It's my hold on, I'm gonna pause. She's the little princess, she's the middle child. Anyway, I don't know if you heard it or not. But I promise you she's okay. She's a little bit of a drama queen for those of you who have that, and it's really cute. It's part of her personality, middle child syndrome, and yeah. So anyways, I don't know what I was saying. I was saying something about it was so funny how the parole. So he's actually new, the guy on the right. He starts to say, if you can see my smile. So this might have been his first day actually coming out of training. He's like, so is whatever is she your mom? Like, yes, that's my mom. Oh, and blah blah blah. Is that your sister? Oh yeah, that is my sister. Oh, and it's like what are you guys doing? And there's something, I don't know, you could say cute about him. He's like, he's just like, whatever. I'm talking about the for Fernaris or Rashawn. I mean, Mr. Braggs. I mean, some of you might kind of like him. I mean, he's like, okay, yeah, he's like, he's the kind of guy I'd want to sit and play PlayStation with all day, and on the beanbag couch and whatever. But when you take a step back and realize that he's been in trouble in the law and really seems to have no maturity at all, it's scary. Now, I think ultimately they made the right choice with like the work release thing. That's great. I doubt that he's going to end up getting a job. He doesn't seem to really care at all to do that. He was getting it anyways in September, which is in like from this hearing, 3 months. So, they're trying to do what's best for him. Yeah, who's even gonna hire someone who's only gonna be there for 3 months anyways? Like, can you imagine this working out? I don't see it happening. He's probably just gonna he's gonna just serve out the time and whatever. Now he has a lot going against him. His dad was, Richard shared in the notes. His dad, there's an article about it, was just arrested actually around the time that he was, well, not arrested, but he was sentenced to 16 years in prison for illegal possession of a gun for a third time. And he's also, he has a long record. So, people without dads at home and role models, and you get this stuff. But you have his history, his adult record history, pretty much as soon as it could start. Theft, where he pled guilty in June 2019. 2 months later, 8/26, he has again theft, 2 counts. Then, he seemed to have gone some time without anything, which either he was locked up or I don't know, but good for him. He went 7/4/2021 assault, which was dismissed. Okay. Then he has 8/10/2021 assault causing bodily injury. Guilty. I don't know what it means, or mental illness. Guilty. 8/10. Then he has 3/14/2022 failure to provide proof of financial liability. I don't know. An accident. Guilty. Was that insurance? Is that insurance thing? Maybe that's an insurance. Driving thing. Then 3/14/2022. So the same day. Failure to obey a stop sign and yield right. Okay, so yeah, that's driving, I guess, without insurance. Then less than, I guess 12 days, no, 8 days later, violation of a no contact. And that's where it starts to get a little bit scary. Violation of a protective order, obstruction of emergency communications, and also a burglary and a harassment. Then 3 months later, you have burglary, second degree, attempted burglary, stalking, violation of a protective order. So it makes it almost seem, I'm just guessing, we don't know, that he's going into, well, this is kind of what he alluded to. So he was was at the house, and then I took stuff. But in all seriousness, it's the system that's broken. When you take a step back, okay, and thank you, Richard, for putting this all together to make this unpacking easier. His first public record is 3 months after his 18th birthday. Then, so it's, I'd assume that he has a bunch of juvie, right? So he was found guilty in the 1 to 3 month interlude between his next crimes. He didn't get any sentences for that, right? And then he had 5 PPO violations over 4 months, including 4 assaults. All but one was dismissed. And this was all within a year. And, you can see that it seems like he's arrogant, spoiled, and doesn't want to talk about his crimes because he hasn't gotten anywhere. There's been no growth. There's been nothing that you can expect that will change when he gets out. And he's going to, I would think, just get locked back up. And it's going to be a longer sentence. And that's a broken system. If you're going to get at such a young age sent finally to prison where a judge said, you know what, you're just going to get enough chances. You don't want to see this as the end result. You just don't. This parole hearing was the final product. And that's scary. And on that note, let's go watch a Judge Boyd hearing, which is all about, kind of similar to this story, giving a man a second chance over protective order. He violates, and how does Judge Boyd handle it? With that, let's jump in.
On Christopher Scott Jones?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jones, come on down. All right, have you all received all the discovery?
I believe so, Judge.
Has an offer been tendered?
Yes, Your
All right, how old are you?
Honor. 44.
All right, Lance, put this for a plea deadline date, the last week of November.
28.
All right, we're going to come back on November 28th. At that time, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. If you choose not to accept the state's offer, the court will only consider a plea that's open to the court or either with good cause. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
All right, do we have any other files left? Probation, this is an application for deferred. Court is calling, if you all could please whisper, court is calling 2023 CR 8806, State of Texas versus Christopher Scott Jones. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Second for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Nathan Slemane from Mr. Jones.
Are you Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review it with your client?
I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Jones, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred and Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with assault, family second offense? That's a third degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Off the record. Could you put the Chapman files back up, please? Back on the record. Did you understand if you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea? If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea, gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you enter plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chapman, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
Ma'am?
Has anyone forced you to enter this
No,
plea?
ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, state recommends deferred adjudication. There's affirmative finding of family violence, no contact with Sydney Jones. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
State?
And Your Honor, if
Is
it's
that the plea?
it is, Your Honor. Defense and I recently spoke only a couple minutes ago about a potential addendum below the line.
Okay.
With respect to a no contact with a physical address, Your Honor. That's the only addendum to the agreement as you see before you.
Okay. All right. And you all are aware of that?
Yes, Judge.
You're aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Showing you the waiver appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 6 years and that there be no contact with the resident's address. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence
Yes, Your Honor. State offer states one and attached.
Without objection.
showing you the waiver of appeal, the waiver of consent to stipulation and stipulation of testimony. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses? The state will call them the right to remain silent.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. State, have you spoken with the complainant?
We have, Your Honor.
Are they aware of this agreement?
They are, Your Honor.
All right. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Do you wish to proceed with sentencing?
We'd like to proceed today, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, other than the state and I worked diligently to put this deal together, and we respectfully would request that you honor it.
All right. Are there any alcohol or drug problems with you, sir?
No, no.
All right. Do you just have anger issues?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And if you're released today, where will you be living?
With my father.
Does he
Father-
want you to live there?
He's present in the courtroom, Judge.
All right. He wants him to live there?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Court will sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. How old is the complainant in this case?
18,
All right. Do you have any underage children?
yes.
What are their ages?
17, 16, 12, 10, 9.
All right. And do you see them on a regular basis?
I'd like to.
Okay. All right. 6 years deferred adjudication, 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm gonna order parenting classes. Once he completes parenting classes, those hours will be deemed satisfied.
Thank you.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. You understand while you're on probation, you're not allowed to drink alcohol at all, even in your own home.
Yes, ma'am.
There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Sydney Jones or Maruby, M-A-R-U-B-Y, Scarlett Jones. And there's to be no contact with the residents. On Clover Street. There's to be the BIPP course. Field visits. 1 time per month for 3 months. Then at probation's discretion. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And anger management. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Gonna show you? Yes.
The only thing that I'd proffer, Mr. Jones does have a number of minor children. If he has no contact with Maruby, his wife, who's not a victim in this case, then co-parenting and making those decisions would be very difficult. We agree with completely no contact with the residents and with the victim. We would ask if, with regards to the wife, who's the mother, just for purposes of co-parenting, we have no harmful contacts with him, at least.
With regards to that, that's gonna have to be done through a third party. And the reason why I'm doing that, Mr. Jones, is because, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, is because your prior assault case is actually against her. So that's why. So I'm not just doing it just to be mean, all right? Okay, I'm gonna show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, so we will be back at 11:30, but I'm gonna. Okay. Christopher Jones? Yes, what's happening with this case?
Good morning, Your Honor. David McLean from the defense. We conferred on this case and we've got a discrepancy on the way the MTR was filed. So we were going to try to do a contested on this. We're going to ask for 30 days if that was possible. We've also got another case that's coming down, so we're trying to figure out maybe we can work on that case as well. It's a misdemeanor.
All right, what case is this?
In terms of the misdemeanor,
Mhm.
there's a misdemeanor terroristic threat, Your Honor, wherein the allegation is that the defendant made a threatening comment to his ex-wife's or ex-partner's current boyfriend.
There's a divorce going on in this case right now, so they're
All right,
separated.
so is that the complainant who's listed in allegation of condition number 19?
The allegation in condition number 19, Your Honor, that's an individual from the underlying initial in time
Okay,
case. So they don't have any current status as a victim with respect to pending or future litigation, Your Honor, but they are involved in the sphere, if you will.
all right, so why do we need 30 days for a contested hearing? The only thing I see in the motion to revoke is not having an informant, contacting Ms. Jones.
Well, if it's okay, we would love the opportunity to kind of further, actually have a note already down to kind of follow up with these misdemeanors on, it's a really bare bones report. I would love to just dot my i's and cross my t's, Judge, on that case in particular, as it informs our MTR.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, set this for a contested MTR early June, and it's going on this date that y'all are about to receive.
Yes, Judge, yes, we're gonna figure this one out, but I appreciate
Okay.
the court, we appreciate the court's time, Judge.
Oh, thank you. June 11th,
Judge, that's a Tuesday. Is there any other day we can do it?
June 10th? Is that possible?
Yes, ma'am. 10th works. Perfect. Thank you, Judge.
All right, June 10th.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, June 10th.
Thank you.
All right, do you have any questions? All right, we'll see you back on June 10th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Court is calling 2023 CR 8806, State of Texas versus Christopher Scott Jones. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Zach Dunn for the state, Your Honor.
defense?
David McLean for the defense.
And are you Christopher Scott Jones?
Sure.
Did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Christopher Scott Jones who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2023 CR 8806 for the offense of assault, family second offense on November 28, 2023 for a period of 6 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Your Honor, on or about the 21st day of March, 2024, in Bear County, Texas, the defendant, Christopher Scott Jones, did then end their contact with Scarlett Jones in person in violation of condition number 19.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And then, Your Honor, the state will waive and abandon the others.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 19, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 9? With a violation of condition number 10 true, the court will let both parties know these documents and the court's file. I have not read them because I don't read anything until parties have to review them and have any objections to them. So have you all just reviewed the documents that are sent to the court's file?
I have not heard.
Those are the ones from last year.
Okay, those are the ones we talked about last time.
That's exactly right. Yeah, there's nothing new. Those are from, nothing from the past like week or two, correct, Your Honor? Those
No.
are- No, so yes, I believe council and I have reviewed them in depth, all of them together.
All right, and would you like the court to read these, counsel, or do you have objections?
Essentially, Judge, they're hearsay, but I know that the court can consider that.
Well, I mean, if you all have objections to it, then I won't read them. They are hearsay.
I'd object. Judge.
All right. All right, so if the witnesses are not here for the court to read those, then the objection will be sustained.
Thank you.
All right. So is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Judge.
And what is the proposed agreement?
The proposed agreement, Your Honor, is for amending conditions for zero tolerance, house arrest for 30 days, GPS for the remainder of his term, extension for 1 year, and enroll in VIP within 15 days of release.
All right, and who is Scarlett Jones and why is he contacting Scarlett Jones?
I can get a relationship chart for you, Your Honor. It's a little bit complicated within the.
Everyone, please whisper.
I can get you an answer, Judge. It's in the file. We literally had to draw this out across a couple of cases, Your Honor. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can get that information for you in the state's file.
All right, is it Scarlett Jones or Sydney Jones?
It's, I believe, Sydney Scarlett Jones.
Okay,
Same person, Judge.
all right, same person. So I ordered,
No, Scarlett Jones is my wife, Ruby.
Okay. Scarlett Jones is Mr. Jones' wife.
all right, and who is Sydney Jones?
My daughter.
All right, and Scarlett Jones, okay. The court ordered no contact with Scarlett Jones and Sydney Jones.
And Your Honor, may I ask you a quick question? The council may know.
Yes,
Ruby, who is that?
no, Scarlett Jones is the person he pled true to the number 19 violation,
Yes,
and I ordered no contact with that person. So
understood.
I
Okay.
want to know why my no contact orders are being violated. That's where we are. Does anyone want to address that?
Your Honor, this is unfortunately not an uncommon situation that happens when you've got parties that are getting divorced, you have new paramours involved. There,
So was this contact made at a courthouse?
it wasn't made at a courthouse. It was not, Judge. From what my understanding is that he had gone by, and he is struggling mentally to try to let go of what this relationship was. He misses his kids, he misses his wife. Unfortunately, she's moved on. What I can tell the court is that it appears that there was an an application for a protective order file, correct? My client has agreed to the entry of that protective order. It is a 5-year protective order.
But how old is he?
Who?
How old is your client?
How old is my client?
Yeah.
I would say probably like 40, 45.
All right, so I don't understand what he doesn't understand, that the court ordered a no contact order with Scarlett Jones. I mean, I know you all have your proposed agreement, but I don't know why I should follow this. I ordered no contact with Scarlett Jones. All of this nonsense about people not being able to let go. You can cry, when nobody's around, ask the gods, why am I not with this person? But I told him he couldn't be with her anymore.
Judge, I understand that, and I totally respect your position. Sometimes emotions get better of people, and I'm not saying that's an excuse,
Mhm.
but I think that's the reality of what happened.
Mhm.
Nobody was harmed. Nobody was, I don't believe in, nothing happened from the contact. I'm trying to get this guy back on track.
But this is what I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I ordered no contact with Scarlett Jones. I ordered no contact with Sydney Jones. This is an assault family second offense, And we probably wouldn't be here, and maybe you would still be in a relationship with them if we were not here for an assault family second offense. So I don't know why people tend to cause problems in relationships and then are shocked when somebody moves on and they don't want you anymore. So I don't know why I should follow your agreement when the main thing the court ordered was no contact. And this is a family violence case. And people don't want people showing up to their door because they've moved on and they don't want you anymore. I don't understand why people don't understand when people don't want to be with you anymore. It's like, I'm over, I'm done. I don't want you anymore. Why can't people internalize that?
I think he has. I think this time in jail has helped him do that. And Judge, if I had a reason for you to follow this, it would be to provide him the assistance that he needs to try and reform himself. I think the battery intervention program alone will do wonders for him. It will open his eyes as to what's going on here. And I also think that, like we said, he's been in jail for what, about 60 days now? He's gonna have another 30 on house arrest. He's gonna be on GPS. We can not only monitor him and protect the family, but he's got a protective order in place. I've already explained that to him, and this is for the record. I've explained to him that protective orders have teeth, and that if he violates that, it's not just an NTR next time. He's gonna be back in here on a violation of the protective order.
Oh, but my rulings have teeth, and my ruling was
Absolutely.
there's to be no contact. What has he done on probation other than, get all caught up in his feelings going to somebody's house who doesn't want him anymore? Did he do anger management? Did you do anger
I
management?
enrolled in the PIP. I did 5 classes of PIP so far.
Probation, has he done anything?
Judge, he was granted probation in November. He submitted a negative delay in December. I don't have any indication that any of his classes have been complete. He did pay a total of $190 for his assessed fines and fees.
All right. Is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, and if the court would like to as well, like I said, not a state's file, like me creating a separate thing in a different file chart. I had to draft out the relationships. It's like a whole page of who interacts with who. So if the court, if I could better explain, I would. I have that information. I don't have it with me. It wasn't.
Oh, no problem. The information I have is I ordered that he was not to have contact with Scarlett Jones. He's saying this is the love of his life. This is somebody he's willing to go to prison for, obviously, because he can't let her go. So I ordered no contact. This is an assault family second. He probably would still be in a relationship with her agreeing to be in a relationship with him if this wasn't an assault family second.
Judge, I understand completely where the court's coming from. I think that my client has had some time to, for lack of a better word, get it together. And I think that he can be successful in this. It's his first MTR. I'd ask the court, please, just allow him to complete these conditions. It's 0 tolerance. Explain it to him, and if he comes back.
All right, the court is finding violation of condition number 19 true. The court is going to find him guilty. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. The court is not going to grant him probation. Would anybody wish to speak to punishment?
Your Honor, I understand the court's ruling. I think that given the facts and circumstances here, and the fact that there's a protective order in place, that's for each of them he has for his family. And I don't see him going by there at all. But if we would ask, I know the court's got the full range of punishment. The court's not considering probation. We would ask for a minimum on this. a minimum of 2 years. This is not something where on this violation, anybody else was hurt. There's no other violence. And we just asked the court to consider this a minimum on this case.
State.
And then, Your Honor, the state, about 10 seconds, Your Honor, the state is accessing the legacy system just to get a better handle on the Bear County criminal history, Your Honor. The state would respectfully request something in the range of about 4 years, Your Honor, and that is the state's recommendation.
All right. Court is going to find you guilty. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Sydney Jones or Scarlett Jones. Court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and signed it? All right, you have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, and also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. I want you to know, I listened to the arguments of your counsel. I took that into consideration. And sometimes when the prison sentence that I give people think, oh, she's just doing that because the state requested it. There are different things that I'm thinking of in my mind to see what's an appropriate sentence for you. Do I think you deserve the full 10 years for contacting her when what your counsel has told me there was no violence perpetrated? No. So I wasn't going to send you to 10 years, but I don't think 2 years was appropriate for you either. You understand? All right. Good luck to you. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Judge Boyd, how much do we love her? If you guys want to see more of her, let me know in the comments section. Thank you, Richard, for aligning the whole thing. I wasn't sure if I should have the whole thing in order, stage by stage, or just show the end of it. But so, we had November 14, 2023. That was the first part, which was like the pre-trial. Then you have 11/28/2023, he took the plea deal. Then 5/20/2024, that was when it was the motion to revoke. And what he did was terroristic threat to ex-wife's current boyfriend. That's what Richard has in the notes. On his plea deal in November 20, 2023, he deferred his sentence by 6 years and he had to have no contact with, I think it's his daughter and his ex-wife. And then what you have is June 10, 2024, his deferred was revoked. So, he's on probation. He's given all those chances. And like Judge Boyd says, it's like, what are you doing? I gave an order. And it's interesting is that it's my understanding that the DA and the defense attorney came up with the plea deal. They had an agreement, which was give him another chance. 30 days of house arrest, to wear a monitoring bracelet, and the judge is like, no, I'm done. He's like, why do people? She doesn't want to be with you. And then she has her mic drop. It's like, if you didn't like harm her, the assault family second or whatever it was, maybe you would still be together. And it's like, just get over it, man. Like, get over it. What a creepy, scary looking guy too. There's like this big man with long, oily hair, and it's like he's just like the epitome of scary. Now he has 196 days of jail credit, so he's been sitting there for some time. And it's interesting to see the process because we just saw before the Iowa at the end of it, but after that, kid really just kept getting away with it. Eventually, a judge said, hey, I'm going to give you a sentence too. It was a shorter one because of his age and whatever. But we see so many of these protective order cases. So I think seeing how it starts by, and I know we've all, you all have seen this hundreds of times already, but it's nice to put it into the hearing. And it's interesting. I wonder if he'll come up for a parole hearing one day and say, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. And maybe they'll grant him. Anyways, with that, I'll let you go.